People of God, hear this word, not from man, but from the throne. For it is written in the scrolls of eternity, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. This is not poetry. This is not philosophy. This is reality. It is a mystery that speaks to every life, every breath, every moment from your cradle to your calling. It is the mystery of the Alpha and the Omega. Alpha does not mean you began when you took your first breath. No, far from it. Your life did not begin in the hospital room, or in the moment of your conception, or even with your parents' decision to bring a child into the world. That was only when the world saw you. But heaven knew you long before that. The Alpha means that your story was already written in the mind of God before the first rays of light broke over the void. You were not an afterthought. You were not a side note. You were spoken, designed, and purposed in the hidden counsels of eternity. While the stars were being set in place, while the seas were being divided from the land, while the breath of life was filling Adam's lungs, he already saw you. Not just as a body or a name, but as a purpose wrapped in flesh. You were born with intention stamped into your DNA. That means your value doesn't come from your achievements, your performance, your family history, or your status in the eyes of others. Your worth was declared before you ever lifted your first cry. The Alpha means God started with the asterisk and asterisk in mind. He saw your finish line before you ever began to walk. He placed the seeds of greatness in you while you were still in the womb. And he planted them not to be buried, but to be awakened. But many live like their beginning was their true start. They define their identity by what's been done to them, what they failed at, who walked away, or what was broken in their childhood. They believe that because pain came early, it somehow wrote their purpose. But no, listen carefully. Your history is not your destiny. The moment someone rejected you is not your Alpha. The moment you sinned or fell or were betrayed, that is not your Alpha. Those are interruptions, not origins. God's Alpha is not marked by your brokenness. It's marked by His design, His intention, His eternal will. And if He spoke you into being, He also spoke life, hope, power, and destiny over you. That means you can rise above what you were born into. You can overcome the labels, the dysfunction, the generational cycles. You are not bound to where you began, because your real beginning was not in time. It was in asterisk truth asterisk. And truth does not fade. Truth does not change. Truth does not yield to circumstance. If the Alpha spoke light, no darkness can stop you from shining. If the Alpha formed you, no failure can unform you. If the Alpha declared your name, no one else gets to rewrite it. So stop living like you're just a product of the past. Start living like you were chosen before the foundation of the world. Start walking like your steps were ordered by the one who began it all and saw it all, and still said, yes, this one will be mine. The world may have seen you begin at birth, but heaven already celebrated your arrival long before that. You are not just alive, you are asterisk called, asterisk asterisk set apart, and asterisk asterisk commissioned asterisk, because your beginning was not your start. It was His voice, and it still speaks. The end, the place where many hearts grow heavy and many minds despair, is not truly the end. What we often call the end is merely a doorway, a veil, a threshold between what has been and what is yet to come. It is the Omega, but not in the sense of closure or defeat. It is the Omega in the sense of fulfillment, completion, and transformation. We live in a world that measures endings by loss, by failure, by finality. When a dream dies, we say it's the end. When a relationship breaks, we say it's over. When a plan falls apart, we say it's finished. When the grave closes, we say it's the final chapter. But the Alpha and Omega, the one who is the beginning and the end, declares something far different. He says, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. He alone holds the mystery of what lies beyond the end. To him, every ending is the birth of something new. Every closing door is a gateway to a greater purpose. Every dark night of the soul is the prelude to a dawn that no one has yet seen. Consider the cross. To those who stood there watching, it looked like the end of a life, the end of a movement, the end of hope. The Romans thought they had won. The disciples thought their master was lost. The world thought the light was snuffed out. But God saw the Omega differently. He saw resurrection, victory, and a new beginning that would shake the foundations of the earth. The end of Jesus' life was not the end of his mission. It was its greatest beginning. So when you face what looks like the end in your own life, whether it's the end of a job, a relationship, a dream, or even the loss of a loved one, remember this: it is not the end. It is the Omega that leads to a new Alpha. The place where you think all is lost is the very place God often begins his greatest work. The end of your strength is not the end of your story. The end of your resources is the beginning of his provision. The end of your understanding is the beginning of his revelation. The end of your plans is the canvas for his masterpiece. Your Omega is where God's glory is revealed. This is the mystery of the Alpha and Omega. God is not limited by time, by human perspective, or by what seems final. He transcends all. He holds your past, your present, and your future in his hands. And because he is the Omega, you can walk through every end with confidence, knowing that what awaits you on the other side is more glorious than what you left behind. So don't fear the end. Don't despair when it seems like the curtain is closing. The Alpha and Omega says, hold on, I'm making all things new. The end is simply the place where God's redemptive power bursts forth in full force. It is where chains are broken, wounds are healed, and every shattered piece is put back together, better, stronger, and more beautiful than before. Your end is not your finish line, it is your asterisk fulfillment. It is your asterisk victory asterisk. It is the moment God transforms your pain into power, your sorrow into joy, your weakness into strength. Because he is the one who begins and ends all things, and he is already working to bring you into a new beginning right after what you thought was the end. Between the Alpha and the Omega lies the journey, the space in which your life unfolds, your story is written, and your character is formed. It is the between time, the middle ground where faith meets struggle, where hope wrestles with despair, where promise is often delayed but not denied. This is the place where many falter, where many lose heart, because it is here, in the middle, that the greatest battles are fought and the deepest tests come. But it is also here, in the tension between beginning and end, that your true destiny is forged. You were not born simply to survive the middle of your story. You were born to conquer it. You were not created to be a passive spectator, waiting for the end to come and solve everything. No, you are called to walk in the tension to move forward with faith when the way is uncertain, to hold on to the promise when it seems delayed, to press through the wilderness when there is no visible sign of the promised land. This middle ground is where your character is shaped, where your strength is built, and where your purpose is tested and revealed. Many times the middle looks bleak. It feels like a desert, a wilderness, a place of loneliness and doubt. You may ask, how long, Lord? When will this pain end? When will the breakthrough come? But this between time is not a place of abandonment. It is a place of preparation. It is where God is working behind the scenes, weaving his plan in ways you cannot yet see. Like Joseph in prison, like David in exile, like Moses in the wilderness. The middle is where God forms the leaders, the warriors, the deliverers. You are not a citizen of the temporary, but a child of the eternal. The Alpha and Omega is not only your beginning and your end, but your constant companion in the middle. He holds you steady when the storms rage. He lights your path when darkness surrounds you. He whispers promises when doubt shouts loudest. And because he holds your yesterday and your tomorrow, you can walk confidently through today. Walking between Alpha and Omega means living with eyes fixed not on the immediate, but on the eternal. It means embracing the mystery of waiting with patience and hope. It means refusing to settle for less than the destiny God has spoken over your life. It means choosing faith when feelings fail, choosing obedience when the road is hard, and choosing praise when the breakthrough is not yet visible. This walk requires courage. It requires perseverance. It requires a heart willing to trust a God who sees the end from the beginning. And in that trust, you find strength beyond your own, peace beyond your understanding, and joy that transcends your circumstances. So, walk between the Alpha and Omega with boldness. Walk as one who is known by the author of your story. Walk as one who is not defined by the middle, but by the purpose that began it and the destiny that will finish it. Your middle is not a pit. It is a platform. Your middle is not a pause. It is a preparation. Your middle is not a prison. It is a passage. And the one who is the Alpha and the Omega walks with you every step of the way, carrying you when you are weak, lifting you when you fall, and leading you into the fulfillment of every promise he has spoken over your life. You were made for this journey. You were called for this moment. Walk boldly in the tension, for the Alpha and Omega is your beginning, your middle, and your end. And because of him, you will overcome. So rise, child of the Most High. Walk like one who was known before time and will live beyond it. Let the mystery of Alpha and Omega not remain a mystery, but a revelation that ignites your soul. You were not just born, you were appointed. You are not just breathing, you are called, and your end is not death. It is destiny. He is the Alpha, he is the Omega, and because he is, you will overcome. Amen.